Hi, my name is Jim Clary. If you tried to use OneDrive on macOS with an external drive, you probably found a lot of confusing and outdated information. That's exactly what I encountered on my Mac Mini. I have the base model with 256 gigabyte internal drive SSD, while the size of my OneDrive library is over 600 gigabytes. I have two main objectives. First, I wanted to reliably download all of my OneDrive files and mark them as always keep on this device. Secondly, I wanted everything stored on an external drive while using only minimal space on my Mac Mini 256 gig internal SSD. Now, if you're comfortable simply using files on demand and letting OneDrive download your files only when needed, you may not need this step at all. For example, in my MacBook, I do use file on demand. But on my Mac Mini, the situation was different. I wanted a full, hydrated, meaning everything is downloaded, local copy, so I could back up my OneDrive files using tools like Time Machine, MSP360, and other backup software. Then I could recover deleted files that were removed from OneDrive's recycle bin after 30 days, and also restore early versions of files. For example, I was able to recover an earlier version of a large zip file that had become corrupted in the cloud. Let's remember, while Microsoft brands OneDrive as a backup tool, OneDrive is fundamentally a cloud synchronization service, not a comprehensive backup solution. After testing, I found the configuration that works most reliable. Unlike the standalone version, the App Store version of OneDrive app can download my 600 gigabyte plus OneDrive library without the OneDrive crashes that I experienced with the standalone app. To save precious disk space on my 256 gigabyte internal drive, I used an encrypted APFS volume on an external drive. In the rest of this video, I'm going to show you a simple outline, not a deep technical dive, just a setup that's working for me and what it looks like. I'll do more deep level dives in subsequent videos. Let's start by looking at the OneDrive preferences. First, we'll confirm the version that I'm using. You can see here it is version 26.5.0, and to confirm it comes from the store, I click on check for updates, and indeed it opens up the store. Now, let's take a look at the size. I just go to preferences for that, and as you can see, I've got around 617 gigabytes of disk space. It says it's taking, to copy everything down, to download all the files now, it would take about 617 gigabytes of space to do it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm using an encrypted APFS volume that's stored on an external drive. Looking at disk utility right here, pointing to the APFS, encrypted APFS volume that I'm using. And you can see it's using about 730, almost 31 gigabytes, which is a little larger than the 617. In fact, so there's some overhead associated with that. But the key is, and the reason we like using that is if you go to take a look at the internal drive, the Mac internal drive, that's only 245 gigabytes, you see that it's still got 107 gigabytes free on that. So we know the OneDrive, downloading all the OneDrive files to my external drive is not really taking up any space on the internal drive. Now, I mentioned one of the most important things I want to do was not only have copies of those files on my local hard drive, but also to use that copy, to use that local copy to back them up. Two of the resources I use for backups are Time Machine and MSP360. Let's just take a brief look at Time Machine first. See, I'm on my Time Machine folder. Now, if you're familiar with Time Machine, you'll know there's a folder for each one of the backups. And so you can see here, this is the 27th of May, so I've got all my hourly backups that we're looking at. Let's take a look at the 1235 backup. So let's expand that. Now, to be able to see and work with OneDrive files inside programs like backups, you need to work with the hidden files. So I'm going to do the Command-Shift period to turn on View Hidden Files. And when I do that, you see now, I see what the actual structure of the OneDrive files is. It's actually stored in, you can see here, cloud storage, data, OneDrive personal. That's what we're seeing here. And underneath these are just regular good old-fashioned files here. You can copy them, you can paste them, you can do anything with them, any of your normal activities. Recover them. That's why I found this to be so handy. You also note in Time Machine, I'm only storing selective folders. I'm not storing the complete OneDrive files. These are the ones that change the most. Okay, let's switch over to the other backup utility I use called MSP360. The publisher is software publisher is kind enough to offer a free version, and that's what I'm using. One of the restrictions they put on it is the size of the backup. So I've actually broken my backup of my OneDrive files into 3 separate. But just to give you an idea of how it works, like here's one for everything else, it says, and if we take a quick gander at that, exactly how it works, we go over here to OneDrive Gem. Got to show hidden files. Always have to do that. And we come down to cloud storage, to data, to OneDrive personal, and you see here I'm not doing the trash or the apps. Some of these I do, like pictures, I do in a separate backup to stay under that limit, that size limit. But you see here, they're just regular. Once you show the hidden files and folders, they're just regular files. So it works just fine. And you can see I've got all the backups down here. I just started a fresh set of backups, so it's only been, since the 25th. I do these once a day. Okay, finally, let's take a look at the OneDrive folder itself. Pull it up here. You can see it's just a regular old folder. It's got the little tick marks that say always available on this device. You notice here, obviously, you don't have to look at the hidden files. You can access them through your menu for regular stuff through here and open up anything. It acts just like any other file or program would work. Anyway, I think that takes care of this quick tour. But in summary, I found this setup that works reliably for large OneDrive libraries. I'm using the App Store version of OneDrive because it handles my 600 gigabyte plus library reliably without the crashes I experienced in using the standalone version. And I'm also using an encrypted APFS volume on an external drive to store both the OneDrive folder and the OneDrive container. Thank you, and hopefully I'll see you in the later deep dive videos.